Those people appear poor and extremely kind. The country around, I am told, is beautiful, interspersed with prairies and timber alternately, and has a number of American settlers took equal altitudes with section M as 68 degrees 37 minutes 30 seconds. Dined with the commander and Mr. Dussett's family. 1. Passed an island on the L side just above the bank, 1 just above, 2 small ones opposite under the St. Shore, 1 on LB side below St. Charles. Arrived at this place at 12 o'clock. A fine day. Clarke, May 16, 1804, May 16, Wednesday. A fair morning. Set out at 5 OCLK. Pass a remarkable coal hill on the larboard side called by the French Carboneer. This hill appeared to contain great quantity of coal and of a appearance from this hill. The village of St. Charles may be seen at 7 miles distance. We arrived at St. Charles at 12 o'clock. A number of spectators, French and Indians, flocked to the bank to see the party. This village is about 1 mile in length, situated on the north side of the Missouri at the foot of a hill from which it takes its name, Petite Coite, or the Little Hill. This village contains about 100 houses, the most of them small and indifferent, and about 450 inhabitants, chiefly French. Those people appear poor, polite and harmonious. I was invited to dine with a Mr. Dussett. This gentleman was once a merchant from Canada. From misfortunes added to the loss of a cargo sold to the late Judge Turner, he has become somewhat reduced. He has a charming wife and elegant situation on the hill surrounded by orchards and an excellent garden. Clarke, May 17, 1804, Thursday the 17th, 1804. A fine day. 3 men confined for misconduct. I had a court-martial and punishment several Indians, who informed me that the Saukis had lately crossed to war against the Osage Nation. Some applications. I took equal altitudes, made the M.A. to be 84 degrees 39 minutes 15 seconds, measured the Missouris at this place and made it 720 yards wide, in banks. A boat came up this evening. I punished Hall agreeable to his sentence in part. A fine afternoon. Soup with Mr. Dussett, an agreeable man, more agreeable lady. This gentleman has a delightful situation and garden. Clarke, May 17, 1804, May the 17th, Thursday, 1804. A fair day. Compelled to punish for misconduct. Several Kickapoos Indians visit me today. George Druyer arrive. Took equal altitudes of suns. LL made it 84 degrees 39 minutes 15 seconds APT. Measured the river, found it to be 720 yards wide. A keel boat came up today. Several of the inhabitants came aboard today. Received several species of vegetables from the inhabitants today. Ordway, May 17, 1804. Orders a St. Charles, Thursday the 17th of May 1804. A sergeant and 4 men of the party destined for the Missouri expedition will convene at 11 o'clock today on the quarter deck of the boat, and form themselves into a court-martial to hear and determine, in behalf of the captain, the evidences adduced against William Warner and Hugh Hall for being absent last night without leave, contrary to orders. And John Collins, first, for being absent without leave. 2 and D for behaving in an unbecoming manner at the ball last night. 3 RDLY for speaking in a language last night after his return, tending to bring into disrespect the orders of the commanding officer. Signed, W. Clarke Combs. Detail for court-martial. Segged, John Ordway. PRS. Members are of Fields or Windsor. J. Whitehouse. Joe Potts. The court convened agreeable to orders on the 17th of May, 1804. Sergeant John Ordway. P. Members Joseph Whitehouse, Reuben Fields, Potts, Richard Windsor. After being duly sworn, the court proced to the trial of William Warner and Hugh Hall on the following charges, viz., for being absent without leave last night contrary to orders. To this charge the prisoners plead guilty. The court one of opinion that the prisoners Warner and Hall are both guilty of being absent from camp without leave, it being a breach of the rules and articles of war, and do sentence them each to receive 25 lashes on their naked back, but the court recommend them from their former good conduct to the mercy of the commanding officer. At the same court was tried John Collins, charged first for being absent without leave, 2d for behaving in an unbecoming manner at the ball last night, idly for speaking in a language after his return to camp, tending to bring into disrespect the orders of the commanding officer. The prisoner pleads guilty to the first charge but not guilty to the 2 last charges, after mature deliberation and agreeable to the evidence adduced. The court are of opinion that the prisoner is guilty of all the charges alleged against him, it being a breach of the rules and articles of war, and do sentence him to receive 50 lashes on his naked back. The commanding officer approves of the proceedings and desicon of the court-martial, and orders that the punishment of John Collins take place this evening at sunset in the presence of the party. The punishment ordered to be inflicted on William Warner and Hugh Hall is remitted under the assurance arriving from a confidence which the commanding officer has of the sincerity of the recommendation from the court. After the punishment, Warner, Hall and Collins will return to their squads and duty. The court is dissolved. Sign, William Clarke. Clarke, May 18, 1804. Friday, May the 18th, 1804. A fine morning. Took equal altitude and made it 97 degrees 42 minutes 37 seconds M. I had the boat and pirogue reloaded so as to cause them to be heavier in bow than astern wrecked of Mr. Lyon 136 pounds tobacco on act. Of Mr. Chodo gave out 10 cups and 3 knives to the French hands. Mr. Lauriasm returned from the Kickapoo town today, delayed a short time and set out for St. Louis. I sent George Drouier with Mr. Lauriasmus to St. Louis and wrote to Cap Louis. Mr. Dussett made me a present of river cats and some herbs. Our French hands bring me eggs, milk and sea, and today the wind hard from the SW. 2 keel boats came up to this place today from Kentucky. Clarke, May 18, 1804, May the 18th, Friday 1804 for a fine morning. I had the loading in the boat and pirogue examined and changed so as the bow of each may be heavier laden than the stern. Mr. Lorimus, who had been sent by Cap Louis to the Kickapoo town on public business, returned and after a short delay proceeded on to St. Louis. I sent George Drouier with a letter to Captain Lewis. 2 keel boats arrived from Kentucky today loaded with whiskey, hats and sea, and the wind from the SW took equal altitudes with Sexton made it 97 degrees 42 minutes 37 seconds in Clarke, May 19, 1804, Saturday, May the 19th, 1804 for a violent wind last night from the WSW, succeeded by rain which lasted some hours, a cloudy morning. Many persons came to the boat today. I took equal altitudes. Maritime 76 degrees 33 minutes 7 seconds. I heard of my brother's illness today, which has given me much concern. I settle with the men and take receipts for pay up to the 1st of Decker. Next, I am invited to a ball in the village. Let several of the men go or fields kill a deer. George Drouier returned with $100. He lost. Clarke, May 19, 1804, May 19, Saturday 1804. A violent wind last night from the WSW, accompanied with rain which lasted about 3 hours, cleared away this morning at 8 o'clock. I took receipt for the pay of the men up to the 1st of Decker. Next, our fields kill a deer today. I write an invitation to a ball. It is not in my power to go. George Drouier returned from St. Louis and brought $99. He lost a letter from Cap Louis to me. 7 ladies visit me today. Louis, May 20, 1804, Sunday, May 20, 1804. The morning was fair, and the weather pleasant. At 10 a.m., agreeably to an appointment of the preceding day, I was joined by Captain Stoddard, Lutz, Milford and Worrell, together with Messrs. A. Shoto, C. Greshett, and many other respectable inhabitants of St. Louis, who had engaged to accompany me to the village of St. Charles. Accordingly, at 12 o'clock, after bidding an affectionate adieu to my hosties, that excellent woman, the spouse of Mr. Peter Shoto, and some of my fair friends of St. Louis, we set forward to that village in order to join my friend, companion, and fellow laborer Captain William Clarke, who had previously arrived at that place with the party destined for the discovery of the interior of the continent of North America. The first 5 miles of our route lay through a beautiful high level and fertile prairie which encircles the town of St. Louis from NW to SD. The lands through which we then passed are somewhat broken up.